right, what's up, gamers?
Can I take a photo of everybody real quick? Is that cool?
Are you gonna do it like selfie style?
Well, like, it's baby's first like panel ever, so I just want a photo of the crowd. I'm gonna show my mom, and then she's gonna realize that playing Neopets for all these years actually counted for something.
We're good. You got one? Okay.
What? She'd be like, what is this?
My mom's gonna be like, maybe I shouldn't have let you play Neopets. You know.
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, I'm good. Thank you, everybody.
All right, so thank you everybody so much for coming out. I know this is 1 a.m. on a Thursday. So this is awesome. It's really exciting. Oh, it's technically Friday, which makes it confusing because time. Yeah, so this is I Love My Gay Neopets, the panel, which is inspired by the T-shirt, which, yeah.
Two of us are
And I, last year and the year before, did a panel with my friend who is not here yet. Hopefully she didn't ditch. We'll see what happens. Called, what's it called? How Neopets Taught Me to Lie and Made Me a Furry, The Rise and Fall of Neopets, which was originally conceived with Daniel in a Chili's. So yeah, we're gonna, welcome to Chili's. All right, so we're just gonna go ahead and do introductions, and then we're gonna give an overview of the panel, and then we'll delve into our slides. We'll probably have Q&A at the end if there's time. All right, so my Neopets username is Yazzie. I made that account in 2005 based off of a like horse kind of OC I had. I didn't know that Jasmine was a birth control then. And then I found that out and it got kind of weird, but it stuck. I use she or they pronouns. A couple of my friends who were guys who I hung out with and who liked Digimon played Neopets, and I got into it because of them. I wanted to play it a lot. So my parents had to get high-speed internet, or not high-speed, but just whatever the phone line one wasn't. So I got into the site mostly. I really liked the pet creation. I was really into cats. So I had an account with like a walkie and a Kara at first, and I did a lot of role-playing and then art trades. So I would draw stuff on MS Paint or with watercolors. I did a Neopets Fairy cosplay group in 2015 because Momo Kurumi did a really great Space Fairy cosplay, which I saw at OhioCon, and I was super inspired by that, and I said, what if we did a cosplay group for this? So we did that, and then it turned into a panel. I'm chaotic bisexual, and I'm probably a furry, which... So I have good news for everybody who's cheering. This is my text from last year, and since then, something has happened. So, y'all are good. Okay, so Beastars, it's really good. The anime just finished airing its first season in Japan. You can buy the first couple volumes legally in the United States.
It's getting released from Netflix jail in February.
It's really exciting. So between reading this and then I made a tweet that was like my decade glow up saying, 2009, my Neopets have sex. 2019, my Neopets have sex and smoke weed. And someone on Twitter was kind of rude. They were like, what kind of furry nonsense is this? My Neopets never had sex. And I was like, oh, maybe that isn't normal. But yeah, so I went to a FurryCon too, and that was cool, but I don't know. Fursuits are not my thing, so.
Here's your tears.
Oh, this is my Neopets tier. Sorry, I can't see when the slides are switching. I love Ixies and Drakes. There's a lot to unpack here. I don't like Jubs. And Kikos, I don't like Band-Aids. It's a thing that goes back to elementary school. So I don't vibe with them. All right, and now it's time for Tease.
Hi, I'm Tease. So Vicunias is not my first username. Get ready for this. So I was originally TC889, then I was TC88965, then I was How Cares 2003, then I was Some Pie, then I was Always Pie, then I was Duck, then I was Pretzels, and now I'm Vicunias. So that screenie that you see there is totally vintage. That is from my 10-year-old self with MS Paint in 2005. I got that ice bory from when the Tarla's toolbar from Internet Explorer was a thing, and you got an ice bory for free for downloading it. So I joined Neopets in 2002 because my neighbor was like, "Hey, play with me," and I was like, "Okay, yeah, sure." And then I played for 17 years straight, and then I never stopped. So I've always been one of those people that just always like, I'm gonna push these rules just a little bit. So I accidentally have been frozen for breaking too many rules. I got suspended enough times that it's just like, you know what? You're banned. You're done. And I've been good now. I know how to like actually behave on the site, but like for the most part, I've done some bad stuff on there. I was really into font making back in the day. I was really a big AC person. I was in a ton of like block guilds and avatar guilds and font guilds and all that fun stuff. And even today, I'm like a really big guild person. I definitely hopped a lot when I was younger, but now I stay in one guild, and like I've actually met some people in real life from these guilds and stuff like that, which is super cool. One time I cried from excitement when I read my first Cadoti. That was pretty exciting. And I'm also a furry. Yeah.
Go to the tear slide.
Okay, so chias are the love of my life. They're filled with beans and they have kind smiles, and I really, really love them. My Neopet Sona is a split bloomaroo, and my first ever email when I was 7 years old was ilovecows123@msn.com, so I still have to represent them no matter what. And Ogrins just be ugly, so like they're on the bottom of my tier list.
So my name's Daniel, and I'm actually Kruger Caterer 115, and I use he/him pronouns. I had like 25 different accounts before I created my main account in like 2005, and it's because I couldn't remember any of my passwords. I joined because I got lured by a corporate advertisement, and I just never left. In high school, I had about 20 throwaway accounts for role-playing, and got half of them like suspended, frozen, for doing bad things, and I deserved it.
Too sexy of Hitalia roleplay.
Yep. I became an HTML master at age 12 thanks to Neo Pages and character creation. So that's like one thing. And I'm also probably a furry. Yeah! You can see a theme here. It keeps going. My tier is so long in the amount of Neopets that I hate that I had to cut it in half. The best Neopets are Bories, Drakes, and Piofins, and I will stand by it. And Chias are in the F list, and you see them at the very bottom. Your turn.
All right. My name's Jay. They, them's fine. So I joined Neopets in like 5th grade because I got like a yellow Aisha and McDonald's Happy Meal, and it came with a code, and I was like, I'll try this out. Tried it out. I was like, no, I don't want to try this out anymore. And then I joined it again about a year and 6 months ago because these guys were like, you have to do it, you know, it's culture. And I was like, sure. So now I actually have a pirate Eerie and a red Ixie. But during the time they were neopetting, I was mostly actually on Go Gaia and really like relevant in the fanfic scene. And I was probably born a furry because, you know, Charlie B. Barkin is not something that people should be watching as children.
It's right. All right.
Jay didn't have a tier, but really likes Jubs. We had to talk about this. Also, before we go on, is everybody's mic volume okay? Okay, awesome. Great to hear. So for the rest of the 50 minutes we have here, we're going to go over... Actually, let me ask, who does not know what Neopets is? Raise your hand, I will not judge you. Okay, cool. So we will do a brief overview of Neopets. Then we're going to talk about why LGBTQ people like Neopets. We're going to talk about our gay Neopets, our gender, our dating that relates to Neopets, furry stuff. Tombola Man's gonna give out some prizes. And then we're going to talk some about non-Neopets, 2000's, LGBTQ nerd fandom sites, go over the site today, talk about some gay stuff and memes, do a Q&A, and we will probably have time for my old not safe for work Neopets art. Which is always a mixed bag of feelings to share, I would say. Okay, so Neopets is a virtual pet site where, this is a screenshot that I took yesterday of it. The site has remained about the same as it was since 2007 when they did a big overhaul of it. It has switched ownership a couple times. Jumpstart owns it now. The advent calendar just ended. That was exciting. I logged in and I took the screenshot and I was reminded of my ex-girlfriend who would just play fairy bubbles for hours instead of doing her art history essays. And it was really stressful, but we're over that now. So what Neopets is it's called a shared virtual environment. And so this is where players, instead of going through a set narrative, you're working together in a world to create the stories. And there are a few really great articles. Tease has written one about Neopets culture. And one quote on Reddit that I found that was great was that somebody said, Neopets is like Pokemon for girls. And I think that is how a lot of people kind of viewed it when they were younger or describing it. But one thing that was really nice about it, because it was seen as a space of people who were at least at the time, girls primarily, felt that they were able to really do a lot of storytelling, art making, and they had contests that encouraged people to submit poetry, art, and you could win prizes on the site, so that was cool. Neopets History, it was originally an adult site when it was conceived in 1999, so there's a caption contest where they see their mom on the internet. There's some wine, and one thing that people love to bring up about Neopets is that Scientology was briefly involved. Scientologists were investors. It was never really influencing the site, but this has been a thing that the creators have had to talk about. A large experience for, I know myself and Daniel with Neopets was doing role-playing, and the role-playing community was split into people who role-played their original characters, so their Neopets, either in like kind of more animal or human forms, and then people who used it just as a fandom site. So like our friend Michaela used it for a lot of Final Fantasy roleplay. She had a guild that she did that. And there were varying forms of places that you could roleplay, which were, some of them were very private, so like Neomail, some were in guilds, and then there were just boards. So this was a guild role play, which I was really excited because this was 2004, and I was like, I'm making a story with strangers on the internet, and I thought it was the coolest thing. You can also customize Neopets, which is a big part of the site. This is my brother's HTML attempt from when he was like 8, which is really cute. This is Daniel's Bori.
That's Zeb.
Zeb. So, and this is also showing. Now, a lot of the focus on customization has to do with either buying items with Neopoints or through a real-world purchased currency called Neocash. And then you can also do some stuff with HTML, but there's not as much of a focus on HTML coding as there used to be. Unfortunate, yeah. So these are some old layouts from guilds, and this is just part of the fandom culture that we wanted to talk about and share. This is all Final Fantasy stuff. Yay! So our thesis of gay Neopets, why do/did so many LGBTQ people like Neopets? A big way for myself is that it's a way to meet new people, or it was, and this was something that I wanted to do. I was like, I'm restricted in my small town. Everybody here goes to church. And I could meet people online who were different. There's the furry element, and a lot of LGBTQ people are furry. You have the ability to create an online persona, not restricted to real life, which is particularly great for trans individuals. And we're going to talk about our gay Neopets now.
Hello. To put it simple, listen, I'm gay. my pets are gay. It's just that easy. Like, with Neopets, unfortunately, like, there's this whole issue where, like, the site doesn't want you to mention, like, sexuality and all that fun stuff of both of yourself and the pets. But Neopets encourages you to make a story, whether it's through customization of what your pet looks like, or if there's like a pet spotlight thing, so you could, like, actually send in your, like, custom story of your pet and, like, win prizes and trophies and stuff. But, like, if I'm gonna make a story about my pet, I'm gonna make some gay stuff. Like, it's really obvious. And actually, for my birthday 2 years ago, Lily, who is in the second row, hey Lily, made this art of two of my pets embracing each other lovingly. You should follow Lily. Lily is Spatterdocs on Twitter. Wilby, I love you. It's a really great, and, like, I got you. I just think it's like, your pet is so important to you, and, like, obviously I want, like, my stories to reflect my pets and stuff like that, and I just be loving gay Neopets.
All right. Does this Neopet look straight? No, y'all are laughing, so I know they don't look straight. Does this Neopet look cisgender?
No.
Look at that skirt and makeup.
He's
No.
beautiful.
He is beautiful. This is a remake of my Neopet that I roleplayed a lot with in, like, 6th grade. Yeah, it says something about me. Anyway, Noelle Stevenson, the creator of She-Ra / Nimona, has this quote that I adhere to in creation of anything, I feel, which is to assume my characters are queer unless stated otherwise. Paraphrasing that. So yeah, assume our Neopets are gay unless we say they're not. Also, we have a disclaimer that straight Neopets are valid, asexual Neopets are valid. I have a straight Neopet. I love her very much. She's a loop. We'll talk about her later. Yeah. Something that's really fun about the Neopets community is that I just threw this out on Tumblr when I was poop posting. This has to be PG-13. Asking when I could free my Neopet from the gender binary, and somebody reported some code, which is awesome. And Neopets currently lets you make your lookup, like lets your user be non-binary or just other.
You can use other, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, now your pets are free from the gender binary. This is a screenshot from the Neopian Times, and there's a couple others, which is just a wall of text because people are very passionate about wanting to have gay Neopets. The Neopets team's rule officially is that you cannot have any relationships that are romantic depicted. So you can have familiar relationships, but having Neopets date is not allowed.
Neo-custody battles.
Neo-custody. And more recently, they said in an update that they were looking at revisiting the rules. More recently, as in like 5 years ago, though. And Neopets has had a lot of its staff laid off. They've been trying to recode the whole site to make it so that when Flash dies, it won't kill it all. But essentially, they've said that because like LGBTQ issues are a quote hot topic, they are going to be censored because it's a family type or site, which is uncool.
Yeah.
I agree. However, there are reasons for this with it being a family site. This was on Reddit, somebody talking about how people got really wild on the roleplay boards because there were people like Daniel who were like, I don't care about this account. I can make my Neopets be naughty. Yeah. But there are people who are making a lot of LGBTQ content, but most of it is off the site. There's a zine which you can go and download for free called The Rainbow Pool.
Yeah.
Did anybody in here besides us submit to it by any chance? You did?
Yeah.
Oh, what did you do for it? Yay! Okay. So you can download it, go to their Twitter, and look at our cool art. So this was a submission-based zine, and there have been a couple other like zine projects within the Neopets community.
I wrote that one. It's just about talking about my pets, once again, talking about the frustrations of being somebody who is a part of the community and just like not being able to say it on a site that's been a part of my life for so long. And I just generally talk about my pets and stuff like that. It's just a vent essay, really, but whatever.
This is some really cute art. I really liked this glow up. Also, the amount of green in the second picture is nice. The striped paintbrush is trans. Look at it. I didn't make that. Neopets did that. Okay. This is my Neopet Sona. It's a fairy Ixie.
Is that the straight one? No.
No.
God, no.
You can flip it. So this is Illicit and Jadora. There was a lot of Illicit and Jadora art because it's a very good ship, and there's some stuff going on between them on the site. Also, promoing me really quick, I just got a bunch new colors of Pride flag paintbrushes that came in. They're 3-inch charms. So if anybody wants to buy one, message me on Twitter. I can't bring a trench coat and sell them to MAGFest because that's illegal. But my hotel room is nearby, so if you want to meet up and get one, I can sell one to you. But not at MAGFest. These are other ones. I like Ixies. Okay, gender.
Yeah, you go.
So Neopets for me was really important when it comes to gender exploration because it allows you to create your own identity in any way you want on your profile. Like, you can change your gender at any time on your profile if you decide to go from the new other label or male, female, however you want to do that. And when I was playing Neopets in my teenage years, I used multiple names and nicknames as a way to explore that, but I didn't really know it because people would ask me why are you not using your actual name online? And I'm like, well, Mom, you don't want me talking to online predators and using my real name. And they would just go with it.
A lot of times, people who were actively on the boards and stuff like that would, who usually ended up not being necessarily cis or straight or something like that, would end up using the male tag instead of using female, despite most of the people being AFAB people on the site. And when you usually had male, 75% of the time, it was that situation. So with people who were labeled male, including myself as a 12-year-old, it was like, ha ha ha, I'm exploring my gender, I'm exploring my sexuality kind of deal. And it was a very big giveaway for people who later on ended up not necessarily being straight or being cis or something like that. And truthfully, with Neopets, actually, some of the first people who were my age that were LGBT, I actually met within the site. I remember one time a friend in a guild being like, me and my girlfriend went to the mall. I'm like, you're 13 and you're a girl, but you're dating a girl. Is that allowed? And it was just so eye-opening because that person also had her gender labeled as male, even though we all knew she was a girl. And it's become a code in a way. And I mean, now there's other, which is very, very sexy to have the other option. But but that's what it was up until maybe other option maybe came around 2014, 2015 maybe. Yeah, it hasn't been there. It's barely not even 5 years. So for a while there's this whole vocabulary that we've actually had to form as a group of people within the forums and the boards and stuff like that. Oh, go on.
So when I was playing Neopets, I ended up just picking a name that just felt right around 2008, and it just stuck, and I started using it in real life and still do. I didn't really acknowledge gender things until things like Tumblr and more prominent LGBT culture became more prominent. So for me, it was just me being obscure on Neopets and experimenting without knowing it until it all kind of made sense. I had no idea people like me or Tees existed until then. So it's kind of cool that we have a shared experience with that.
Mm-hmm. And this is an experience that's not just limited to Neopets, but any sort of site where you're creating an avatar. I went to a panel at my local library because libraries are cool. Books! I'm bad at reading books to my Neopets, though. I should do that. But yeah, and there was a question that was asked because it was just a panel. It was called Ask a Trans Person. And somebody asked, how did each of you decide your names because of how personal names are? And there was somebody who was a trans man who was in his younger 20s who said, oh, well, and he kind of at first wasn't saying the name of the site. He was like, I was really into virtual worlds when I was younger. It was really formative in my teenage years. And we're like, okay. And he's like, I play this game called Club Penguin. And I thought it was really cool that you could be a boy penguin. And the name that he just went with on Club Penguin stuck. So Thanks, Internet.
So I don't know if any of you guys knew this, but Neopets is actually a kind of a dating site. So I actually met my first queer partner via a role-playing group
Hadalia.
on the Neo boards in 2014. It lasted 2 years, and it was an active long-distance relationship. And yeah, we eventually did break up, but in the time we were talking, we went from like Neopets to AIM, and then onto cell phones, and then like more prominent social medias as they got more popular. So I'm really, I guess, happy that Neopets got me an ex.
I, this past month, actually went to a wedding of somebody that I met on the Tumblr Neotag, and I ended up being her maid of honor. And I owe Neopets to our friendship, and I flew all the way from New Jersey to frickin' Mississippi to go to a wedding. So even though I'm not necessarily dating the person, however, it really was such like an experience to see like people that like I talked to about like Chia Bomber being like, hey, I'm getting married. You want to be in my wedding party? And I was like, oh, yeah. So Neopets can also apparently get you friends who get married and like actually have sex. Neopets players have sex. They have sex. They have sex.
Yeah. I was thinking about this as we often think about things. And the guys, none of the guys that I've dated have played Neopets, but like when it comes to my taste in girls, if we have a Venn diagram and one is like people who played Neopets and people who went to art school, it's like this. And most of them are in overlap, but yeah. No one I met on Neopets. We're talking about furries now. I don't feel like I'm a furry expert. I just like, you know, but Neopets has some expert furry stuff. So I'm just gonna read this quote because this sums up some stuff. I remember once upon a time, I met this girl on Neopets and we talked a while, and then she asked me to go into a chat room with her on the website. And then she tried to get me to roleplay Neopets having sex. And let me tell you, that's my first run-in with furries. And I definitely did not judge her, but I was like 9. And I was like, I lied about my age so I could use the Neo boards. Please don't make me do this. And then she reported me and got my account frozen. So Neopets, I do feel, started out more so as a site that was to adopt animals. I mean, the Bruce was a human. There was some kind of weird stuff. Macy Gray. But in general, I feel like Neopets in the site's concept has become more furry because of the aging user base, the increasingly complex backstory of characters, and also by having the Neo Cash Mall with having the clothes. A pet becomes much more human when, I mean, also they talk to you. They say stuff like, I'm hungry, please feed me, and like play with me, and I don't know. And also in the changing art style, this is where we really see this and why Neopets is a furry site. So before the big customization overhaul in 2007, some of the pets did have clothes, so particularly the Asukis and the royal paintbrushes. Exhibit A, though, fruit machine. So this is a Neopets daily where you go and you press a button, you spin it, you get some fruit. They redid the art. And look at this. The cow has hands. The elephant has clothes. Actually, they took out the Elefante completely. Oh my gosh. He's gone. They put in a sexier Neopet. That's very sad. Captain Three Legs. This is his original art. I don't know what they were trying to go for. We were doing panel rehearsal and I said they made him daddy and y'all were like, no, they did not. He's not good. But yeah. This is a good Tumblr post. It's bad. So Tarla, y'all know I like Ixies. So this is how she starts off. And you can see, this is like the early 2000s art. She's on her hind legs walking, but just has the ICSI collar. Then later they give her a scarf. Then they added new art for her. And yeah, she's got hair. She's got those like bedroom eyes. It's a lot. Tombola Man.
It's the one underneath, right?
Yeah.
All right. Put your mask on, Tombola Man. I can't talk like this.
I don't think it works. All right, so underneath some chairs is a golden ticket, and I believe there's 4 of them out there.
It's not really a golden ticket.
It's a
just
golden
bumper
ticket.
sticker. It's a bumper sticker that says for.
Don't spoil it.
Everyone's like, we're attacking every chair.
Fortnite.
All right, we found one.
That's right.
We got a second Fortnite. These are weatherproof. They're durable vinyl.
Fortnite. Woo!
Tease, or not Tease, Tisha. Look under your chair.
She's like, no.
What?
1, 2.
Huh?
Oh no.
I'm sorry.
Up here.
Is that all 4? Did we all find?
They're all
1,
out there.
2, 3, 4. We found all 4. Yeah.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations.
You're a winner.
On your Fortnite stickers.
You're welcome. Just in time for Fortnite 2 to come out and make them irrelevant. Yeah.
All right, Jess.
All right. So, during the 2000s, while they were Neopetting, there was a bunch of other stuff going on. So, one of the first things to come out, all of these were pretty much promoted like on TV, on the internet. You know, you could find stuff in the toy aisle. Like, it was heavily pushed towards children. So, like, Toontown was one of them. Disney bought it out at some point. I don't quite know it. It was meant to be for all ages, but one of the like downfalls of it was a paid-for service. You could play up to a certain point. When you got that, then you had to like go beg your parents to let you go and be a cartoon furry a little more, which didn't happen for a lot of people. And then eventually, Club Penguin was also bought by Disney, and they turned their focus to that, shut down Toontown. A lot of people got into that. So Club Penguin, Club Penguin, it was, you know, more marketed towards smaller children. It was, I got it. It was marketed towards smaller children. You couldn't do a whole lot of other things on it. Like, it wasn't a lot of chat to it. It was very kind of heavily monitored because it was for younger children. And of course, you still had like a subscription model where you could do a bunch of things, but once you got to a certain point, in order to go further with it, you had to go beg for some money. And then eventually that got shut down for like Club Penguin 2, and by that time, a lot of people were just done with it. You know, you took my penguins away, never again. Wizard 101 was also a big one that popped up during that time. It was more marketed toward teens because the person who created it was making it for his younger son. And they're actually still around. It's actually apparently still popular. But one of the issues is it has microtransactions, so you kind of have to buy each world as you play through it. Yeah. But apparently they're actually very, unlike the first two, they're actually kind of positive towards the LGBT community. Every like Pride Month, they'll come out with rainbow items you can buy, and they like LGBT accounts on Twitter and stuff like that. But the chat for it is a lot more restrictive. It's meant to be more of an RPG than a shared universe. And then, of course, there was Gaia Online, which is kind of what I got into. Yeah, so it was for the most part free to play. You got your Gaia cash, and you went and you bought stuff, and you dressed your avatar up basically anything you wanted. You could be a furry if you wanted. You could dress up as a character that you created. You could dress up as a character from, you know, something that you watched, and you could actually go into the worlds and play through it as that character. So it was kind of very Neopet. Go ahead. So whenever you played through it, you were in the world as your character, and then you would kind of chat play or forum play in the world itself. You could walk around, you could sit, stand, use emoticons, and kind of build within the actual world with neighbors and friends and family. And it had events where you could make choices for like the holidays and stuff. As for restrictions, where Neopet was something where it's like, oh, you can't talk about your sexuality, they actually were okay with having romance. It's okay to, have relationships, to build it. It just, you couldn't do anything explicit. And they actually, BDSM was something you couldn't do, and, DGL, whatever it is, you couldn't do. So nothing bad. And if you tried to be like, well, let's go to a different place and do it, then you would still kind of get flagged for it. It's still actually active for now. And if you go to the older towns in Gaia, they're kind of like LGBT retirement communities. If you walk in and you'll see a bunch of pan and bi and trans characters who kind of just live in a town together and RP with each other still. And I actually didn't know this until recently, but starting in 2018, they started doing Gaia Pride parades, where they would actually get together these communities, start at a map tile, and then march through the entire map dressed up in pride clothes. And they'd have events like karaoke, and they did one last year as well. So I assume that they're going to do one in the coming year if it's still around. But with the downfall and death of Flash, which Gaia pretty much runs everything on, it's not looking too good. They haven't really tried updating either to get it to run on something else. And then there's also the economy, where they've started to move in, well, if you watch this video by Skittles, you'll get some cash. Or if you put out $1, you can get cash and buy cool stuff. So it's kind of it's more Neopets now than it kind of ever was. And then the other thing that I was doing during this time was the fan fiction. So the fan fiction community of early 2000s was very elitism. It was very restrictive. Things were divided by what fandom you liked, how old you were, how well you wrote, what your favorite ships were. If you had slash ships or gay ships, well, they didn't want you over here in this site, so you had to go to the other site. And that was more so with the fandom sites. Well, a lot of which are defunct now. If you go and try to find these sites, they're pretty much dead. And then fanfiction.net was a big one, but of course they eventually went and purged all the explicit stuff and stuff like that. Freedom of speech was actually one. I don't know how many people remember that, but it was kind of like baby AO3. It's kind of what AO3 is now. They wanted to do, but they never really got it up off the ground. I'm gonna
jump in here and also say that one thing that's important about these is that they were accessible for people with dial-up or without good internet, because Jay did not have good internet, so could not play those Flash games that we loved so much.
Yeah, I was mostly playing them at school, so fanfic was kind of my at-home project. A lot of indie sites popped up too, where they weren't specific fandom, but they were run 3 people. They'd go through and they'd read your stuff, and they're like, well, I don't like this ship, so you can't have it here. Or, you didn't write this well, so I want you to rewrite it. And then AO3 came around, and it's kind of a godsend. I think some people tend to take it for granted nowadays, but, I mean, you can write almost anything on there, and any ship, and they accept it, any skill level you get to grow from. It's kind of a good place to be.
Donate money to AO3.
I was going to say, give your money to AO3 when they ask for it during the drive. It costs a lot of money to run that site, and the fact that
It does.
they're all doing it, please support them.
And they actually have a lawyer team too, where you can keep writing your favorite ships and stuff, because they're fighting for fan fiction is a thing, a freedom of speech.
Yeah.
And specifically, a lot of it's freedom of speech from oftentimes the corporations who own these. So you would have, when Warner Brothers or J.K. Rowling could, in theory, come in and say, Harry Potter is our property, you gotta take down your dreary fic. We don't want that. We want dreary, I guess. I don't know.
All right, and then just real quick, LiveJournal, That was a lot of kink meme stuff. When fanfiction.net started kicking stuff, it was an alternative. And Quizzilla, that was an old one where instead of making quizzes, people would make 2,000 word quizzes and then post it, and you'd have like one choice, and you'd read through it, and then you click it, and there it's there. It was interesting until they fixed it by making it so 200 words per question only. All right, so deviant art is still a thing. It's still there. I don't know, but it is. But it's a great thing it's still there. Because it's really like this melting pot of place where you can stick anything. If you want Neopet explicit, you can find it there. Like Neopet lewds all over the place. If you want Neopets like soft and sweet, you can find it there. It's there. Any kind of fetishes, yeah, you can find it there. Like, it's there. And it's for artists, writers, role players. You can do anything.
I could do a panel on DeviantArt. It would be bad. All right, so we're going to talk about the state of Neopets now.
So it's 2020. Flash is dying in February officially. And Neopets is still kind of kicking. So when a lot of us were kids and a lot of us were like talking about being on the site, I think a lot of people were on the forums and boards, and they've slowed down a lot, which is really unfortunate. However, people are still on them. There's a lot of dedicated communities still, so there's a lot of still people on the pet trading site, Portion and the Neo.
I'm so sorry. Hang on.
Whoopsies.
I'm on the. I'm not. Never mind. I thought this. Never mind.
What you call it? There's a lot of people like on the avatar chat still. Like there's even a thing called like the friendly the Neopian lending board, and it's a group of people who actually lend super hard to get avatar items. So there's still like a really active community of people who are working together and helping other people on the site, and there are people who are still trading and all that fun stuff. So there's even a whole bunch of online like off of Neopet communities, which is kind of like, oh, I'm not supposed to mention this on Neopets, but like, hey guys, here's my Neopets Twitter, like follow me type deal. And so there's like huge Twitter communities. There's Nihilist Neopets on Twitter. Dr. Sloth, if you guys are like actual Neopets fans and don't follow him, like please, they're so good. I love them. I mean, obviously, like, there's the Our Neopets Reddit, and then there's also a handful of Discord servers. Like, there's Gay for Neopets, who did the Rainbow Pool Zine, and then I'm in a guild, like I mentioned earlier. However, we have a secret Discord for the guild, and during the guild, we're like, all right, guys, we'll just post like once or twice a week, and then it's like our Discord is just like a constant shit post. It's us always being like, hey guys, so today my goldfish died. We're like, no! So like that is just like our Discord. So like what the guilds used to be like in 2009 is just our Discord server now, while our Neopets like message system on the guild is a lot more like, hey guys, this event's happening this week, or just like casual, like, hey, I think I'm gonna start buying stamps or something like that. So it's a little more casual, a little bit more Neopets based, while the Discord is like everyday life stuff. A lot of veterans still obviously play, like, let's be real, we're here doing this panel, you guys are here. And we're over 18. Technically still it's family site, and yet we still just wanna keep playing and say gay, you know? And maybe say like the F word, I don't know.
That would be so cool.
Friendship?
Friendship, that's the
French
Neopets
fries?
say French.
Furry? No. And right now, Neopets on the back end is putting a lot of effort into recoding the site so that it will run when Flash support is pulled. And I know a lot of people have said that they want mobile support or they want an app. And I get sent articles like every year, and I get really excited for like 5 seconds about a mobile app coming to Neopets, and then it never happens because they have such a small staff and they are having to put a lot of effort just into making sure that the site isn't lost. Also, UC trade is a big deal. If you have an unconverted Neopet or a Neopet with a good name, you can do some cool stuff with it. This is a Tumblr post I screenshotted that was talking about an event that happened last month that got nuts. Somebody used a searching method that they did manually to load images and was able to find unconverted Neopets. And they released the names of 700 pets. So the pound boards were really active. And this was exciting because the boards are usually pretty dead. they weren't banned for this, but they did end up getting frozen because they told somebody to, quote, commit Sudoku. And some of the names on this list were very good. There's a Mency that's called Spanky Spank Spank. We like him. So because unconverted Neopets I should explain what they are. I'm so sorry. So when the conversion happened in 2007, they changed the art so that the Neopets would be more uniform so that you could fit clothes on them. And some pets that were painted specially, you had the option to not do this. Because I was in 6th grade, I was like, this art looks cooler. I didn't know that I'd have a Neopet that would be worth like real world money one day. But there is a black market for buying Neopets. And because I love my Neopets account and I'm not saying anything, I'm just saying that I would never buy illegal Neopets. Ever.
Me neither.
And Daniel wouldn't either, especially not with my birthday money for my Neopet. So yeah, you can buy, some of these are accounts that people will sell. However, I found out after this that people do get their accounts hacked and people will sell their pets, which is very unfortunate and made me have all this guilt. But it's okay because I traded the pet away for one with a better name. Some of them get really expensive, $250 for a Neopet, real world money. And like the site might crash because Flash is going away. I don't know what's happening to our Neopets. They'll be here. But yeah, that was wild. That was a wild night. I did not spend like $100 on Neopets though. It was a low amount. So I did a poll on Twitter. This is only 30 votes, but like that's pretty gay. And then Tease did an article, which we've touched on a lot of, but I want them to elaborate on some of it because it's very cool.
So part of the reason how I actually got into this panel was because 2 years ago when this original How to Lie panel came out, they used my article and I was like, oh shit, that me. So in turn, I've now become friends with everybody and now here I am. And basically I just touched on a lot of like how Neopets is really used to explore gender, especially as children, because like we were able to be who we wanted to be in a situation. Like, I don't know about you guys, but like in 2003, my mom was not considering looking over my shoulder and being like, oh, maybe I shouldn't let my kid play Neopets for 10 hours straight. My mom's like, she's fine, whatever. So like, I was able to just become my own person online and explore. And it's so obvious that Neopets was like truly an intrinsic part of me growing as an LGBT person, because I got the chance to talk to other people my age who were also going through it, and I got to say that my name was Pi and not Tease, and I got to say, hey, gender's fake. So it's just kind of like just an exploration and talking about just how other people felt about it. So if you want to read it, it's a really fun article. It's also like 2 years old, so I promise I'm a better writer now, but whatever.
Go ahead and skip to ahead. We just have some screenshots from it, but you can just go and look at the article.
Yeah.
Also, if anybody wants to see slides, feel free to message any of us on Twitter. I'm free to share them, minus the Neopets crimes listed. Yeah, more gay stuff. Ellison is gay. She wants a Valentine from Jadora. There's a really great thread about Neopets faeries that I was gay for as a kid before I knew how truly gay I was. I'm gonna read a couple of my favorite ones. The space fairy. You know how our entire generation has a space kink? It's probably her fault, or possibly. Ellison, another gay icon. I love my buff lesbian earth fairy wife. Intimidating, but just wants you to secede. Marry me. The soup fairy helped me out when no one else would, but then shut me out when I had money. It's a complicated relationship, but I love her. All right, so
Here we go.
the biggest Neopet event in the last couple years, this actually isn't my art, but it's good, it's exciting, is when Neopets was sold to Jumpstart in March of 2015. A lot of the staff was laid off, and they did not have sensors on their boards, which caused the, quote, Neopocalypse. So we're just gonna go through some choice screenshots from this highlight of the 2010s. Yeah, this is the roleplay part. You wanna scroll it? This says, I would F the Grundo because it looks like Shrek.
Smiley face.
Minions roleplay. The entire B movie script. This isn't illegal though, so this could be on Neopets. This could be you posting on Neopets. I'm gay. That's illegal. You can't say you're gay.
No.
Go to church. You know. And then some interestingly named pets were created. I can't do this. Yeah. Can you guys all read these okay? I think you can. I don't want to have to say them. They're something. Okay, this whole sprawl about this is a family site, and then the answer, have you ever had your ass eaten? You know, the real questions. And then, so this was just kind of, people were tired of not being able to say, because there are some very silly things that are blocked on the boards. There are words like cum, like, so you can't type cucumber.
You can't type basement.
Yeah, you can't type basement.
Uncle, no.
Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff that's really weird and honestly hard to find. Like, I would be using Neomail to talk to people and wouldn't know what I was saying that would prevent my message from being sent, so I'd be really frustrated. So people have really silly reasons that they've been suspended for, like mentioning Garfield.
I also know this person, like in real life, Marissa Brusicle. She's really funny and really cool. I actually also know her through the Neotag and have met her in real life because of Neopets type deal. And she, like, if you get her to talk about it, she just will not stop. She just will just keep going and going. There's like even more than what's actually on this list, which is wild.
Right.
Yeah.
These are just some Neopets memes. I like this Jub Jub skirt because it blocks their scary giant feet. Neopets graffiti. This was found in Canada. It says Neopets or die trying. This is some marijuana-influenced stuff. So recently when the Pound Chat was active, because somebody said that they were going to release a bunch of unconverted pets but didn't, they asked for best Neopets pickup lines. My favorite one was, I want to clap your ka-cheeks. Also good is, you got me feeling like the super sop whiz. I need a break every 10 minutes. Censors, they're funny. This is valid. All right. Let's do art. Let's skip the Neopets Pokemon thing, and then take a couple questions.
No Pokemon.
No Pokemon.
That's for if we had extra time, but we don't. Okay, so art for me was a big part of playing Neopets. I was learning how to draw. I had a mom who was an art teacher, so she was always giving me colored pencils and telling me to do that instead of playing on the computer. And she was really excited when, like, I got excited about drawing something that was on the computer, I guess, because she thought I was just like wasting my life on the computer. So I started drawing my Neopet, and this was one, this one's cute. This is like, oh, this kid was 12 and listened to Avril Lavigne. But yeah, so I had a sleepover with Daniel. And we decided that our Neopets were in a sexual relationship, but it was not ethical. Because my Neopet was dating his silver loop. Oh, you switched to that. Yeah, so this was the first porn I drew in 8th grade. That's my Neopet on the bottom. It was interesting to draw that. I didn't color it, but I colored this one where she is maybe pregnant. Actually, she is pregnant. She doesn't know who the father is. I can't talk about this. It's hard to talk about. And he's like, We have a whole story. Do you want to share anything?
No.
Okay.
I was the bystander.
Hakunion, who's the Great Curie, Daniel traded, and the person who got him got their account frozen, and
He deserved it.
I'm really angry about that. Yeah. So that's the panel. Message us if you have questions, if you want to talk more. We'll take a couple questions now, if anybody has some. Also, there's nothing in this room for but after if anybody wants to stay and chat, but I will give a minute for anybody who wants to leave to go ahead and leave because I know it is late.
It is bedtime. Sleepy baby disease.
It's bedtime, but I'll talk about Neopets forever.
He's got a question.
All right, we have a question?
Yeah.
Do you want to just come up?
Have a great night, guys. Have a great con.
Hi, everyone. Good panel. Big fan.
you.
Do you think the people that were making Neopets were aware of how gay and how furry they were about to change the world?
God, no. Absolutely not.
That's a good question.
I don't think so. I mean, maybe furry, yeah, because, like, they're animals. But, like, gays? I mean, that just shit kind of happened on its own, I think, personally.
I feel like, I don't know, I would be really interested to see in the people, especially who are making art and making content for the site, how, like, what the percentage of them that were LGBTQ themselves are, because I feel like the art making community, especially, like, just, there are a lot of gay people in it. So I like to think that maybe they were like, we've got a feeling, but I don't know.
I like to think they had no idea, and this just blows their mind.
It was an accident. They didn't mean to create the monster, but
The
they
kids
did.
aren't supposed to draw porn, but they did. Scientology.
Yeah.
All right. Here, I can,
I'm curious if you guys can summarize your favorite stories you ever wrote on the site.
oh, yeah, that's a good question. So the question was to summarize the stories we wrote on the site.
So I guess I can talk about my two pets that we had the art of. I have like my Usel's a runaway prince, while his silver fox Dilf Daddy boyfriend is a Halloween bloomeroo who was injured in war and then had an honorable discharge. And now they live on a mountain together and they're in love and they're hiding from their kingdom. And then I also have a royal boy uni who is also involved in it and is like the Usel's like dumb best friend who's trans and always hungry, and I love him, and all three of them are really good and I love them a lot.
I had a loop, and I remember I was kind of having to like rush this role play because my family was about to go on a trip, and I'd been role playing him with this lady loop, and suddenly she wanted to get married to him, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess this is what happens when two people are in love or whatever, because I was in 5th grade, and I was like kind of uncomfortable with this, and the other person like created a pet that was their child. And we role played out the wedding. It was kind of, yeah, it was weird.
I didn't tell the bone story.
Oh, hang on. Tease has to tell a story about breaking a bone real quick.
So when I was in high school, I was still very, very passionately into Neopets, obviously, because I still am. And a friend came into my house without me knowing, and she walked into her computer room, and she's like, "Are you on Neopets?" And I was like, "Nobody can know about this." So I chased her out of the computer room, down my hallway, back up my hallway, and then, because I was sprinting after her, she knocked herself into a dresser in the corner of my hallway and then broke her toe. So I've actually broken bones over Neopets, I guess.
What's your story?
I actually don't have a story that's as good as Teesa's, so I don't want to talk about any of mine now.
Jay, tell me the best fan fiction you wrote in middle school.
Oh, God.
Was it Death Note?
I'm pretty sure it was Death Note.
It was what?
It was Death Note.
It was bad.
That's bad. Okay, we're gonna take one more official question and then we will just chill. Who else has a question?
Hello. Okay, first add me as a Neo friend. I'm at Pink Gobi, like the desert.
Oh, I know who you are.
Yeah, I think so. We talk on Twitter all the time.
Yeah, hello, hi.
This was really good.
Yay.
Okay, what do you guys think the best Neopet and paintbrush combination is?
Oh, good gravy.
So the question for the video recording was the best Neopet paintbrush combination.
Pass. Give me 2 seconds. Let me think about this.
I got a pass too.
A lot of my favorites are unconverted pets, so my favorite's an unconverted Dargon Bori at the moment.
Taste.
I've only been here for a year. I like the Egyptian paintbrush. I don't know what
Lost Desert.
like. Yeah.
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 Royal Boy everything is good,
They're
though.
so cute.
This isn't a paintbrush because it's a lab zap, but the MSP Poogle, which is the malevolent sapient plushy Poogle. It's just
Yeah.
like evil toy.
I really love
unconverted.
sponge pets.
They're
I think
good
they're so
too.
cute. But I also really love mutant cows. Well, also Neopets known as a split bloomaroo. So I really do have a soft spot for those a lot too, I think. And I really love Yuski boys as well. Yeah.
Does anyone love the invisible paintbrush?
No.
No.
That's one I didn't understand.
All right. That's the official end of this panel. Thank you guys, everybody. For
Thank
coming
you so
out.
much. Have a great MAGFest.
Yeah.
Yay.
All right. You can close.